Really, again, spirited practice. The guys are going really hard, but again, it's not real football. Saturday is when real football starts, so I'm really excited to see our guys put the pads on and go play some real football. Injury update: Montrell Estelle sprained his other foot, but X-rays are negative, and so they're going to get an MRI just to be sure. But looks like it's just a midfoot sprain at this point. Questions?
Coach, I haven't seen a spring practice after a bowl win here in a while. What's the juice and energy out there like?
Great juice, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of that is, one, there's been a ton of positivity in that locker room for the last couple months, but also these guys know what to expect. You know, it's not, they know when they get in that locker room that if I take one lazy step on that field, I'm going to get called out. And not only now am I going to get called out by Coach Herman and my position coach, I'm probably going to get called out by a bunch of teammates. And so guys go really hard. They're energetic. I mean, this is they understand this is the way it is around here, and it's going to be, and it's never going to change. And so they've embraced it, and they're going really hard.
I think Sam looked through a couple of days.
Good.
I think now compliance won't freak out if you talk about Calvin Anderson.
No, yeah, I think we're allowed to.
Yes, exactly. Just him being here today, that's a big sign of a guy who is interested and wants to see it all. I mean, what do you make of this perception that's already been created that he's going to be a step-in Connor replacement?
Yeah, it's tough for him. And really the guys that are out there competing. You know, he's out there in shorts and a T-shirt with a script trying to learn the offense, and the rest of the offensive linemen are out there working their tails off. And so, that it is, that's the normal in today's media climate, I guess, but it's not fair to him. It's not fair to the rest of the offensive line. But we're excited to have him, and we're excited that a guy that's not going to be here till June can be out here for some of these practices and watching and trying to learn.
But it is fair to say that you expect him to step in and be a starter.
No.
Or at least earn it.
Yeah, expect him to come in here, and if his best is what we think it is and he picks the offense up, then I think he's got a great chance to earn it.
Coach, what does a guy like Colin Johnson need to do to become more of a consistent player?
That's the word, consistency. He had some unbelievable plays today, and then some plays a junior shouldn't be making. So we've got to hone in on. It's really I have no issues with Colin's buy-in level. I have no issues with Colin's desire. He's a great teammate. He's a great player for a coach to coach. I think it's got to be a constant, whether it's self-talk, mental focus, whatever you want to call it, dialed into that 1-0 mentality each and every play. And so I think, Coach Maringer, Coach Meekins, myself, we're constantly reminding him of that, and he'll get there. I'm very confident he'll get there.
Can you talk about having Lil Jordan and him at the same position right now?
Well, we haven't introduced any of our 10 personnel stuff. When we go 4 wide receivers, LJ will be in the slot, and it just makes sense from a rotation standpoint, so we can see a little bit what Jordan Pouncey and what Gerard Hurd can do in the slot. But LJ's so smart that if he's one of our best 3, we're going to find a way to get him on the field. And then when we introduce our 4 wide receiver package, he'll definitely be out there.
Before you get to real football with the pads on Saturday, the early enrollees, are you seeing them catch the hang of it and start adjusting to the new speed of the game now?
Yeah, they understand the tempo of practice. I credit, our leaders on this team. I credit the locker room for that. I credit Coach McKnight and his staff for the installation of our culture in those young guys. You can tell, today was day 2 of installation, and it's, the more drops in the bucket, we call it, then the heavier that bucket gets. And so they'll be swimming mentally for a while, but their effort and intensity and their practice habits have been really good.
Kind of off topic, but have you gotten any update on Junior Angulau and whether he'll be here come June?
Nothing new. I mean, our expectation is that he's going to be.
You mentioned the leaders helping install the culture with the new guys. Are the leaders who we would think they are at this point, or there's some new guys emerging that are kind of taking the lead in the locker room?
No, they are. One guy I forgot to mention on Monday was P.J. Locke. Obviously, he's a returning captain, and that wasn't an omission on purpose. I just slipped my mind. So no, the usual suspects are who's doing most of the leading.
Do you see PJ in the nickel, or?
Oh yeah.
What's coaching Chris Boyd like for you?
Oh. It's fun. The kid loves football, man. Absolutely loves football. And when you win his heart, he's as loyal as they come. And I have no doubt that Chris Boyd would take a bullet for Jason Washington, Todd Orlando, myself. He is bought in, jumped in with both feet, and he loves football. Now, there are times like a hyper dog, you gotta yank on the leash every now and again. But again, you'd much rather yank on leashes than kick butts, to get him in gear.
Tom, other than how Deli 808 looks physically, what's impressed you about him since he got here in January?
He knows football. The kid's really football smart. Instinctively, the nuances of his assignment right now. I mean, I'm not ready to say he's nowhere near where he needs to be, but instinctively just really knows football, and that was a big reason why. I mean, obviously physically the kid's what he is, but he was such a highly ranked recruit because he made so many plays. That there's a lot of guys that look like him that aren't nearly as highly recruited as him because they don't make plays.
In our limited portion of practice, Reese Lato looked good. What have you seen from him, and give me your assessment of him?
Great. Looks great. I'm excited. I wish that new redshirt rule that the AFCA, Todd Berry, and all of us coaches are hoping to get into effect. I wish that were in effect last year because we would have played him the last few games. But it was more prudent to redshirt him, and so had a great bowl prep, and then the 2 months with Coach McKnight did wonders for him. He's strong as an ox, super smart. The guy's majoring in neuroscience. I didn't even know that was a major, by the way. But extremely smart, loves football. You can tell he's a coach's kid, goes hard. When he screws up, it kills him. So we're excited about him.
What's the reason that during the portion we saw in some of the receivers drills, Coach Maringer was with Brennan Eagles, Jordan Pouncey, and the walk-ons, while Coach Meekins was with the more experienced wide receivers?
Because we had a lot of stuff going in today, and the younger guys, there was most of it was stuff we had last year, but these younger guys, it was new for them. And so I think it was more of a, let's make sure we teach these younger guys to make sure that when they get in, they're not screwing things up.
Speaking of tight ends, going back to what Alan was asking, just Cade's over there running, trying to get back in shape. But just generally speaking, are you going into this as if you're fully loaded at that position again, or in terms of do all you want with the offense?
Oh yeah. I think for sure. you know, we don't have, you know, like what we had at Ohio State with Jeff Herman and Nick Burnett. You know, we don't have 6'6", 260 that can put his hand in the dirt and go block an elite, you know, 7 technique. But what we do have are guys that are athletic, that can move, that do have leverage. They're not short by any stretch, but by tight end standards, you know, 6'2", 6'3" is not extremely tall. But they can move around, they can play in the slot, they can run routes, they can catch the ball, and you know, yeah, the offense is pretty wide open.
How's
Time for 2 last ones.
Duvernay doing?
Great, I don't want to say a lot, made some standout plays in both days of practice. He's got a smile on his face, he's doing really good.
Motivational wise, morale wise, is there a bonus to having guys like Malik or Armonte come back and watch these practices as they're getting ready for the pros?
I think it is. I don't think it's ever talked about, you know, like, hey, we got to do good because Malik's standing over there watching us. I think it's a internal thing, like, hey, that's the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year standing there watching me. I want to make sure that I'm impressing him, and Armani the same way, you know. And so I think that's why, regardless of age, whether it's, you know, guys that just left or, you know, when any of the former players come out. You know, Corey Redding comes out to practice quite a bit. We usually have really good defensive line practices when Corey Redding's out there, you know, and so I do think it matters, kind of probably subconsciously a little bit, but that's why it's so important for me to have those guys around as much as we do.
Real quick on Saturday, putting pads on, is it a full throttle padded practice like you would in the fall, or?
Yeah, we can't. You're limited to you know, there's all these non-padded, then there's full pad non-tackling,
right.
Then there's full pad tackling, and then there's scrimmage.
Right.
So this will be I think it's a full pad non-tackling a day. So you won't see a ton of guys going to the ground. Most of the drills that we do will be in thud tempo, but you can get a lot accomplished in thud. Thanks.
Thanks.